before we get into the entire conversation of last night's game, that I made it perfectly clear. The Oklahoma City Thunder are incredible. They are your champions. They were the best team in the NBA all season. But I do think last night is a testament of two things can be true. One, the Thunder were historically great. And in being historically great, they also won their first NBA championship. And two, Game 7 will go down as one of the bigger what-ifs in sports. Because I am left sitting here thinking, what if Tyrese Haliburton had not blown his Achilles out in Game 7 against the Oklahoma City Thunder? Tyrese Haliburton tearing his Achilles in that game is truly one of the most heavy-hitting doses of life's not fair that we have seen in sports in a minute. Because that guy has been tremendous. He has been a massive part of the Pacers' fairy tale run through this NBA postseason. He has had many a big moments of his own. And for him to go down in that way, I was watching the first half in the airport, and there were about a group of 10 of us all watching together. And the collective that was taken the moment that happened, and then everybody having their own iteration of, you've got to be bleeping kidding me, watching Tyrese Haliburton. And we'll only show it to you once on this show. They showed that thing over and over and over again on the broadcast last night. But watching him down on the ground, crying in pain, crying in frustration, because I do think the emotions were just as much about that as the absolute horrific pain that comes with tearing your Achilles, it made me sick. And watching him with the towel on his head, getting helped off the court, watching his dad's reaction at the end of the game when the Thunder are celebrating.
I thought you said we were only going to show this one time.
I only show. I don't. Do I have the buttons?
It's a replay after replay after replay.
I only send a clip.
Yeah, you should have told him to play the first X amount of seconds, because that was like 10 times.
Well, the slow-mo's fine and the hitting the ground's fine. We're not going to show it again. I'm not going to start the second segment and be like, and just a reminder, last night, Tyrese Haliburton. And I don't think we've gotten the official, like, Tyrese Haliburton tore his Achilles update, but that man tore his Achilles. And playing through the calf strain.
His dad said it.
His dad said it during the broadcast. It felt so unfair and so sad. And the image of him in the tunnel, like giving hugs to his teammates, TJ McConnell, and him sharing an embrace in that moment, and listening to his teammates talk about, like Benedict Mathurin talking about how hard it was to play with him not being on the court. Like, all of it just created such a devastating main story on a night where you want to hope that the main story is the team that just won their first ever NBA championship. But they do have to share time, because when the Pacers cut it to 10 late in that fourth quarter, it feels different because Tyrese Haliburton isn't out on that court.
I mean, I don't think we should start with this, but we can.
I know you don't. You're anti-injury.
I'm not anti-injury.
I think it was the biggest thing that happened last night.
I think the biggest thing that happened last night was a coronation and a completion of one of the greatest basketball seasons we've ever seen a team have. That's what I think is the story coming into this.
And I knew you would.
The Thunder went out there and they performed. Just because you get 60-plus wins, just because you get 68 wins, doesn't mean just because you got an MVP on your team, just because you got a couple of all-defensive selections on your team, just because you got a couple of all-NBA selections on your team, that doesn't mean that it's guaranteed that you get a championship out of this. We've seen teams, regular season teams, we've seen teams have incredible regular seasons still come up short. And this Thunder's team they were tested. They were tested against the Nuggets. They were tested here, and they still found ways to get out there and win. Now, I will say this about Tyrese. That was hard to watch. When he goes down and he starts slapping the floor, it's like, shoot. Like, that's, you know immediately what it is. He's crying, no. I thought that was more, he knows what happened. Mm-hmm. I thought that it was the realization that, hey, I'm hot right now. I'm in the biggest moment of my life. Tyrese doesn't have kids yet, right?
I don't believe so.
Outside of kids and maybe getting married, and that depends on how long that marriage lasts. If it lasts your entire life, then I'll say that. But if you get divorced, I'm not adding that in there. Outside of those two things, this is the biggest moment of his life, right here. And he's out there and he's meeting the moment. He's out there hitting threes. I think 3 for 3 is what he started from deep. He's going to go out there and meet this moment. And then for him to go down like that, like you said, it's just not fair. And it's a tough way for this incredible individual playoff run to end for Tyrese Haliburton, where he's had game winners in every round of the playoffs.
Yep.
And every single round of the playoffs, Tyrese Haliburton has had at least one game winner, at least one of them. And for this to be the way that it ends for him or ended for him, like that's just a tough thing to sit down and watch. And it's a tough thing for us as sports fans, at least for me. It's tough for me to sit there and grapple with hey, sometimes you can do everything right. Sometimes you can be good enough. You can be. And then just bouncing the ball is not fair. You still come up short. And you have to find a way to make peace with that. And that's something that I struggle to do all the time. And I hope that he finds peace in this moment. Also, second thought I had about Tyrese, I hope he never leaves Indiana. I hope he retires a Pacer. And he will be lionized up there in Indianapolis for what he did in this playoff alone. And then he comes back from the Achilles, because I think he comes back and is just as good. And we'll see what happens next.
It is crazy to think that him, Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard, all tear their Achilles in the postseason. We won't see them until 2027. Like, that's a long period of time.
Well,
likely 2027.
It's crazy about Tatum and him.
Okay, it's crazy about Tatum.
Dame is on the downswing of
but it all happened in one postseason.
It did all happen
the Pacers lost 3 players to Achilles tears this year too. 3. James Wiseman, one of them, and Isaiah Johnson.
Okay.
3 players. Or Jackson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey.
That's a lot of Achilles. As somebody
it's,
who has
well, it's not a lot of Achilles. Like, that's the problem.
Yes,
because they've lost the Achilles.
Oh, yeah. Well, you don't lose it.
They lost it. No, it's gone. It's gone away.
I do appreciate the aggressive reactions from people, because I feel like Kobe made it this thing with Achilles where you were so tough. People are like, does it really hurt to tear your Achilles? Because he like goes back out and takes the free throws. No, it hurts like a bad word. And I appreciate Tyrese Haliburton for having people have the conversation of, ooh, how bad does it hurt to tear your Achilles? Really, really bad. And for Tyrese Haliburton, it was so sad. But that is why I started with the Thunder are your champions.
Yeah, you didn't stay on.
Okay, but we're going to get onto that even longer.
Okay, all
because
right.
I agree with you in that sentiment. I get really annoyed with any notion that Tyrese Haliburton's injury delegitimizes what the Thunder did this season. Injuries happen. They are a part of sports. You face the opponent that is on the other side, and if they happen to have a significant injury, that is a part of the game. It is still not guaranteed. TJ McConnell tried his damn best in that third quarter to make sure that the Pacers still had a chance to beat the Thunder yesterday. And I know we can sit here and hypothesize what things would have been like with Tyrese Haliburton, but the one thing I don't have to hypothesize about is how damn good the Oklahoma City Thunder were this year. They had the highest point differential in NBA history with their regular season and postseason combined. The 1971 Bucks are in second with 1,208 point differential. The Thunder are nearly 40 points better than that. They're better than the 96 Bulls. They're better than the 2017 Warriors. They're better than last year's Celtics team. They are so good. And when it's a 6-point game in the third quarter, I was sitting on an airplane and it went to the safety video, which takes a good 5 to 7 minutes. When it came back out of that video, it was a 13-point game. And I was like, oh, I missed what the Thunder do. And that is put together these runs that make it really difficult for teams to come back. And the defensive clampdown that they showed in the third quarter, the turnovers that they forced, again, looking at a team that had 29 points off of turnovers last night, forced 22 Pacers turnovers, hold the Pacers to under 100 points. SGA has 29 and 12. It's Shai. It's Jalen Williams, 20 points. It's Chet Holmgren's with 5 blocks in last night's win. It's the 22nd chance points that the Thunder have. It's the bench production of Alex Caruso and Cason Wallace coming up with some big threes. And you look at Wallace and Caruso and Lou Dort, I think, combined for 14 steals for the Thunder. It's all of that makes the Thunder. I used this term earlier in the postseason, and some Thunder fans were peeved by it, but it is true to me. They are an AI team because they're nearly perfect, and they have changed how teams will have to build themselves in the future. Like, depth is not an option. Depth is not a luxury. Depth is a necessity, and the Thunder have shown that. Their versatility, their reliance on defense, the process in which they built this team that now looks to be in a very positive place to continue forward. Nothing's guaranteed. This is our 7th straight year with a new champion. And how many times have we said, ooh, this looks like it could be the start of a new dynasty?
After every single time one of those new teams is won.
Nuggets for sure. Celtics for sure.
Bucks. Remember what that Bucks team was?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an incredible moment for those fans who wanted more parity. Just going back to the 80s, it was all right. If you're not the Celtics, Lakers, or Pistons, not really sure if you got a real shot at this. And then in the 90s, if you're not Jordan, and then when Jordan leaves, it's kind of open from there. And then Jordan comes back and it's like, oh, yeah, if you're not Jordan, you're probably not going to be good enough. And then if you're not the Jazz, you're not going to be good enough to get to the finals to match up with Jordan. In the early 2000s, it was wherever the hell Shaq is. If you've got that on your team, you're in good. There's a good chance you're going to get to a conference final and an NBA final, right? And then in the 2010s, late 2000s, early 2010s is, all right, where the hell is LeBron at? That's the one who's going to get to the finals. And then we'll see what happens from there. Mid 2010s is where's LeBron and the Golden State Warriors? We know that's where we're headed to. We know that's what all of this is building up towards. We can start in October, but we know exactly who's going to be there in June. We know this. Now, we don't. Since the Raptors won in 2018, 2019, it's been new. It's been exciting. It's been different. It's been, oh, look at this team that's built in this really interesting sort of a way that we hadn't seen before. Here they are. They're here.
Yeah.
They're here. This is great. They're going to be here. And then the next year, they're not there anymore. Look at the Suns. The Suns came off of that championship appearance. It was holy hell. What are we supposed to do with Chris Paul? What are we supposed to do with Devin Booker? What are we supposed to do with DeAndre Ayton? This Suns team is really, really good. They're going to be there forever. And now you look up, lo and behold, and the Suns can't sniff a playoff run.
Oh,
right?
You're not inspired by Jalen Green, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal?
I mean, hey, listen.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
But it is a great moment for parity. This is the most parity this league has seen, I don't know, ever? Because even the 60s was just the Celtics and the Lakers.
I always hate to be that person who's like, this is the best parody we've ever seen.
I think this is the most parody
But I really think it's
ever.
the most, and from a small market standpoint.
Oh, incredible for small
markets. A win for small markets. You have OKC, and you have this Thunder team that it took time, right? Like Sam Presti, we've been talking about in this madman genius. How did he build this team and a team to last? I mean, it took 18 seasons. He took over in 2007. It took 18 years to get to a point where they're struggling to pop the bottles of champagne last night and being able to celebrate a championship. You look at the selection of Mark Daigneault as their head coach. That's someone who they developed internally. He was their G League team coach.
Full disclosure?
Yeah.
I just learned his name.
Every time I say it, I'm not sure I'm saying it correctly. Daigneault?
Sure,
but I feel like during the broadcast, they were saying it a little differently. Also, and it just really pricked my ear in a weird way.
Is Jalen Williams J. Will or J. Dub?
J. Dub.
I thought he was J. Will. Okay.
Dub.
All right.
The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m.